Welcome to Watch How Law Firms Use Clio. It's a special event presentation, and I'm Joshua Lennon, the lawyer in residence at Clio. I'm an attorney admitted into New York. I'm a certified privacy professional, and I'm very active on social media, especially Twitter, at Joshua Lennon. Today, we're going to be taking a look at who uses Clio and how do they use it. And right now, over 150,000 law firms, legal departments, and legal professionals in 90 countries around the world use Clio. They store data on our redundant data centers located in the USA, Canada, and the European Union. And why are they choosing Clio? It's because Clio understands the unique workflow needs of the legal industry. In fact, we've been called the law firm lifesaver. We actually know that being a lawyer, unfortunately, is harder than it needs to be. It's a hard job. I'm not disputing that at all, but it shouldn't be as hard as it is when it comes to balancing your law firm as a business and your professional obligations, and quite frankly, just taking care of your clients, which can eat so much of your time and bandwidth. And so Clio is helping professionals by lifting up some of the burden and working alongside you to help your law firm and your clients succeed. So how are you looking to improve your law firm? Let's do a quick poll. Are you looking for help on bringing in new clients, serving your clients in a new or better way? Or are you looking for help with managing billing and payments and the revenue of your law firm? There's no wrong answer here. We'll keep it up for 30 seconds. That's perfect. Thank you. And as we can see, it's fairly evenly mixed, where people definitely will have concerns on bringing on new clients, but you're really looking at serving your clients and billing and payments as a part of that service. So thank you all for answering that. It really helps me kind of direct some of this demo today on how to best answer your goals in Clio. I've got one more quick question for you. This is going to be a very high-level overview of Clio's functionality. So if you're looking for a tailored demo from a Clio specialist, would you like us to reach out to you? And that's totally fine. There's no obligation here. I'm excited for everybody to learn a little bit more about Clio first. All right, let's end that poll. In today's presentation, you're going to see the Clio suite. Our tool is Clio Grow, which is a client intake tool, and Clio Manage, which is a case and practice management tool, and how it is used by law firms to connect with clients, to work smarter and increase your revenues. And after that, I'll show you some of the unique benefits that come from working with Clio in particular and our place within the legal industry. So how is Clio's intake software used? Clio Grow is used to provide online intake to maximize your prospective clients. It helps you organize your information from those clients as well and get it ready for when it becomes billable work. It enables you and your clients to schedule meetings with each other and automate communications, and it allows you to see how your law firm is performing when it comes to business development. We have found in the course of our research into the legal industry is that you cannot underestimate the importance of online intake or CRM software, customer relationship management software, when its desirability for prospective clients and its impact on your law firms. Our research has shown, for example, that 57% of consumers contact more than one lawyer when they're looking for legal help. Close to 80% of those prospective clients expect a response within 24 hours. And 42% of them say that they would go with the lawyer that basically got back to them the fastest. So when it comes to obtaining interest and responding to prospective clients, you cannot move fast enough. and tools that enable your clients to service themselves, identify themselves, and enable you to automate and speed them through an onboarding process will actually reap huge benefits for your law firm. As we've seen in Clio's Legal Trends report, law firms that use online client intake actually see a great difference when it comes to the number of new matters that are created by those law firms, and a big difference in the amount of revenue generated per lawyer when they use online client intake. The numbers actually come out to tens of thousands of dollars, and it really drives a value for both the clients and the law firm. And that's why it is one of the most impactful tools you can add to your law firm. So now I'd like to take a moment and demonstrate how you can use Clio Grow to onboard clients, drive your conflict check and due diligence with them, automate your communications, and measure the effectiveness of your law firm's business development. Let's jump over to Clio Grow now. You're looking at the Clio Grow pipeline, and this is a dashboard that allows you to see all of your prospective clients and where they are in a customizable workflow for your own online intake practices. And I've actually went ahead and entered a few sample instances here that'll show you how Clio Grow is a powerful tool for taking a prospective client and turning them into an actual one. Let's take a look at the first entry, which is this unassigned Darius Sculper. Darius Sculper came through a public form that's on my law firm's website. It actually looks a little something like this. And with it, Daria can tell me a little bit about herself, including her contact information, her address, her phone numbers, what type of service she's looking for from the law firm, and how she'd like to communicate with us. And all of these are customizable questions that I can use as a part of my intake, and I can use multiple different intake forms in order to pull this information into Clio Grow. Once I've seen this in Clio Grow as a lead, I can now assign this. I can move it through my workflow, and I'll show you some examples of that. And I can automate communication and data entry with my prospective client. Let's take a look at that. The next stage in my workflow from newly added would be pending intake form. In this, we've already done a little bit of review in terms of the information provided and conflict checking from Daria. And now I've added a workflow. Clio Grow allows you to create your own customizable workflow and stages that automate the onboarding process for clients. So for example, I've got a potential new client welcome letter. This is actually an email template that's a part of my Clio Grow account. It's customizable, and I now have just sent that email directly to her. And it's now a part of her record. I can now also share an intake form for her where I need to get more information before we move on to a consultation stage. So that form can be emailed to her. I can actually share it via other communication tools like text messaging or other types of chat. And I can actually set a due date, or I can use this form and have it filled out as a part of my law firm workflow. Let's take a look at this custom form that we've generated on behalf of our divorce intake. So here it's already pulled in some of our information already. But then it allows me to take a look at specific questions that might really impact the consultation that we're going to be having. What date were they married? Where were they married? Do they have any kids? What are their spouse's details? What's the employer of their spouse detail? And do I need to worry about these things as a part of our communications and consultation? And I can even have her upload files that might really help the consultation as well. Maybe it's the marriage certificate, so I can verify that she really did get married in the location that they stated. Or maybe we're moving into questions about financial concerns and how will the marital assets be split? And so can she provide the last income tax statement? What's interesting about these forms is once they've been sent to an individual, they don't have to complete them all at once. They can actually save their progress, come back to it, say they need to go and dig up their last income tax statement. And that keeps them engaged and make sure that their effort is continuous and accurate. And then once they submit that information, then again, it automatically updates into Clio Grow. So here, for example, after Daria has completed that form, I now have a task that's assigned to review these details, double check, make sure that there are no conflicts involved. And then I'm going to invite Daria to book a consultation with us. Let's move beyond just the straight evaluation phase into investigating, is this a good attorney-client relationship? So for here, I can send an invitation. In Clio Grow, I'm actually able to send her a link where she can book her own consultation on times that I schedule and set out as available. All she has to do is click on this link right here, and she'll be taken to this page where she's able to see the dates and times that I have set aside as bookable for these types of consultations. By selecting it, she's then able to fill out all of her information, and that will show up as a calendar entry within Clio Grow for me, keeping me booked and on time for that presentation, for that consultation. And it will send reminders to her as well, making sure that she makes that consultation. In this instance, we've chosen Zoom video conferencing. It'll actually create the Zoom link so that it's easy for our prospective client to log in. And once we have that appointment booked, then I can actually move her to a scheduled consult. And if we go back to our pipeline, what we've seen is she's moved from the pending consultation now to a consult scheduled. Say that consultation goes really well, and we now know there's going to be an engagement here. One of the things that I can do is I can then start adding, again, more details, including the value of this. And that'll only enable me to calculate return on investment when it comes to the business development that I used to find her as a prospective client and enabled her to find me. And I'll show you some instances of that reporting right off the bat. But now I'm also able to add, say, an additional workflow. So here, we're going to sign her as a client. Let's grab this workflow. I've updated the status. I've added my new workflow, which is I'm going to send her the retainer agreement for signing. Then I'm going to send her the fee deposit for our advance fee retainer. And then I'm going to migrate her to Clio Manage. Let's go ahead and work that through real quick. First, we're going to prepare our document. I've already selected a template that I have programmed here within Clio Grow, and that's our retainer agreement for family law. I have my document automation selected. Who is going to be the contact? I'm going to draft that document right now. Oh, okay. Need to do a quick edit. I'll proceed anyway, but that's a good example of how Clio Grow keeps you on track. And then I have a signature block at the bottom here that I can then prepare for signing and send out to her as a part of our communication workflow. She'll get an email letting her know that there's a document waiting to be signed, be guided through the signing process itself, and I'll be notified when all of that is available. And you can see right here, for example, that she's able to checkbox the different services that we'll be providing as a part of her. We do have some custody involved as well. And here's the signature block where she'll be able to sign all the information that needs to be done. Click send, and it's ready to go. Here, I'll actually send it to her as an email link. It's valid for 1 week. I can always resend it, but it makes it easy for the client to actually retain the law firm without actually having to set a foot through the door. We'll continue to the email. Again, this is another templated email that I have saved. Click save. Add maybe a reminder. And we're good to go. Now my retainer agreement's out. Now I'd like to send her an email on depositing her retainer. Oop, clicked the wrong thing. This one's automated, so it's gone out automatically. And I can actually see the email message that's been sent to her. One thing I want to point out is this link right here that will take her to a special landing page that will deposit her retainer directly into my trust account. I'll show you how that works in just a second. And then lastly, now that she's signed the agreement and has instructions on a retainer, I'm now going to migrate her to Clio Manage, which I can do by clicking this button right here. Let me show you Clio Manage now. Here's Clio Manage, and we'll be jumping into all the functionality of it in terms of servicing clients as the next part of our presentation. I just have to jump to the screen. There we go. Sorry about that. So in this instance, we're going to be taking a look at Clio Manage and how to best serve your clients. We're going to take a look at how Clio Manage centralizes your law firm, making it so that information is searchable, findable, and usable. We're going to take a look at how we help you manage communications, both in Clio Manage and outside of it. And lastly, we'll take a look at how you can work on the go using Clio's mobile app for lawyers. So why is this centralization important? A research company called Blue Hill Research actually took a look at the use of practice management for law firms. And what they discovered is by making information centralized and available, it's not sitting in a binder or a folder on somebody's desk. It's not hidden in somebody's email inbox. Instead, it's in a searchable place where everybody can find it. Actually ended up saving those law firms 4 to 8 hours per month in non-billable activity. It just made them more productive, and they were able to take that saved time and either apply it to work-life balance or apply it to an increased amount of billable work. And they estimated, again, that this could have a huge impact on the law firm's bottom line. When we started looking at our own customers and asking the same questions on how does Clio's search and centralization impact their time savings, what they've been telling us is that Clio actually saves them 1 to 2 hours a day on administrative and non-billable work, making them focused on being a lawyer, on providing legal services, on doing the work that matters, both to the law firm and to your clients. So let's jump back into Clio Manage, and I'll show you a demonstration on how Clio centralizes information, helps you communicate, and even helps you on the go. So this should look familiar. This is Clio Manage, and we're on the Matters page, which is where I'm able to see with this screen every open matter within my law firm. And one of the things I really enjoy about Clio is how customizable it is. We're able to make changes within Clio quite often. So for example, I see the statute of limitations field right here. And it turns out that's just maybe not an applicable field for my type of practice. Maybe I'm not doing civil litigation that has a statute of limitations or criminal defense where I have to worry about that as well.
Joshua, this is Jocelyn
hi.
Popping in from behind the scenes. You don't have your demo screen up.
Thank you so much. I'll start over. We're taking a look at the matter screen in Clio Manage, and this shows me all of my open matters currently in my law firm. And one of the things I like about Clio is it's very customizable, including even the information that I see on the screen at any point in time. So for example, on the right here is the statute of limitations column, which keeps track of any statute of limitations that are linked to a matter and whether or not I need to be concerned about some upcoming deadlines around that. Actually, I'm able to just remove that if it's not applicable. And suddenly my information is definitely what I want here. Maybe I want the client to be front and center rather than practice area, and I can just drag and drop this. So Clio is very customizable when it comes to how do I present information. And then it's also very customizable in terms of finding information. So here we've got Daria. I'm able to do a quick search and she pops right up as a contact as well as a matter. But here I can search all of my categories, and these categories appear here on the left-hand column. She's a contact. She's got a matter. Right now, there's even some content with documents and document names that have her listed. And this is how Clio can actually help be a part of a robust conflict check, is by enabling you to really dig deep into the information within your law firm and make sure that you're not relying on your memory, but actual documented evidence for your conflict checks. Let's jump back to our matter. Once I go into the matter itself, there are actually key bits of information. And you'll notice there is this line of information across the top. For example, a calendar, our communications, documents, task and billing. And these tabs across the top actually correspond to the organization of that same information at a firm level. So I'm able to take a look at all of my tasks at a firm-wide or user level, depending on my permissions. I'm able to take a look at bills, if I have those permissions, at a firm-wide level as well. But I can also take a look at what's specific to this particular client and this particular matter. And that ability to have a broad view or a narrow, tailored view actually makes it very easy for me to take a look at how is my law firm doing and how are things going on behalf of my client. Right here, I see one thing jumping out at me, and that is we have an agreed minimal threshold for retained funds in trust, in this red area here. Turns out we haven't gotten that retainer deposit that we requested as a part of our Clio Grow workflow. Let's go ahead and send a little reminder. So we're going to store this in our trust account, but I can store trust funds either at the client or matter level, especially if I have clients, business clients, for example, who have a large amount of matters with me. Here, let's go with the amount that's owed, 5,000. I'm just going to skip the approval process here for the purpose of this demo. But if you have office managers, billing managers, accountants who are helping maintain your law firm's finances, you can actually have an approval process for invoices and trust requests such that you always have oversight and awareness of all the information going out through your law firm. Let's go ahead and save that trust request. And here we can do a quick view of this trust request, including a preview of what the client sees. Right now, Daria has received an email with a link to pay this, and she can do so by entering her credit card information, her debit card information, or by using e-checks. Clio supports all of these payment methods. It's native functionality built into Clio with the lowest processing fees of any provider of legal credit card processing and legal e-check processing. Why is that important? First, there are very specific requirements when it comes to depositing funds into trust, maintaining the records around those, and keeping that information inviolate from, say, disbursements that might come about from using online payments. Instead, Clio has designed this payment process such that funds deposited into trust are always kept under your control. And you can also use the same functionality to send invoices and receive those same deposits directly to your operating account. So here, let's take a quick look at an online payment. Here, for example, we could have a credit card payment done on behalf of our client. They could enter their information, name on the card, all of that, review the payment, submit it, and then it becomes a part of your trust ledger and your client ledgers for the purposes of your documentation. Here, I'm just going to record a payment real quick so I can show you what it looks like. Within the matter itself, let's go ahead and jump there. And what I can see is my tracked matter trust funds are now above the threshold, and I'm ready to go for her. One of the other great things about Clio Manage is that you're able to store payment methods. And so if the client agrees to pay via credit card or pay via e-check, I can actually add that payment method, or using the request payment function, have the client enter their own details and then have that stored in an ethical and compliant process such that I can then use that again and again as per our retainer agreement. Let's say we've got a quick bill that comes up. We've done work on behalf of the client. We'll add a quick time entry. Now I can do this in a lot of different ways. I can do this via this page here. I can do it via our dropdown and create a time entry. I can have certain activities that just automatically create this type of work for me. But in this case, let's say we've got quick court appearance and it's on continuation of mortgage payments. Gone ahead and filed for dissolution of marriage, but there are some things that are just unfortunately taking too long. With my hourly rate, the bill has been generated. Go ahead and generate that bill. And then I can actually take this bill and apply trust funds. Apply and approve trust. Or I can send it to the client and they can pay it again online with all the different functionalities. But I'll just show you a quick approve trust. Our invoice has been approved. It's been sent to the client, and we've documented the transfer of trust from our trust ledger now to our operating account. And if I go back to my matter, I can actually see what we've done, what's the status now of our trust funds, and I can see those activities and the bills and their status here on our paid bills. I can also see communications that we've done with our clients, and we can communicate with our clients in a lot of different ways. The first of which is email. And so let's go ahead and take a look at how Clio helps centralize your email as well as other types of communication for your client. With that, we're going to jump to a different screen. Clio has plugins that work with both Google's Gmail and Microsoft Outlook, and they enable you to track time, track task and task completion, and log those emails such that they are a central part of your case file. In this instance here, you can see that I've got a Clio plugin loaded in my Gmail. I can just open it right here. And it's automatically reading this information and saying, I think this email address is linked to this matter. Would you like to log it? And it's telling me how many of the messages have been logged. If you have a chain of messages, for example, you can actually log a single message or log the entire thread. And I can even log the email attachments that have been a part of that. Let's go ahead and log this email. It's been logged already, and we'll jump over to Clio Manage and see that in our communications log for our client. So let's do a quick reload of the screen. And just like that, we see the email that I logged in Gmail without ever leaving Gmail is now a part of my Clio record and searchable and usable for a lot of different activities. For example, I see here there's no time added to this particular communication chain. So let's do that real quick. Quick email. We'll give it a 0.1. So 6 minutes. We'll just save that entry. And now I have a time entry attached with that. There are also attachments, and those are now part of our document chain. Here, under the original emails, I can see all the information that's been linked to this, which is the attached checklist. I can also link Clio in a variety of different ways to both third-party services like Dropbox or Microsoft OneDrive. And I can even link Clio to my own computer's hard drive. We call this feature Clio Drive, where anything stored in Clio is actually synced to my hard drive and vice versa. So I'm able to actually jump into my hard drive, grab a document, make a change, and have that latest version of the document appear in Clio, synced throughout the rest of my firm. So it's a really great way to have your firm centralized and searchable. And the last thing I want to show you is communications and mobile. So we just did a quick review of email, but Clio actually includes text messaging, including reminders for calendar events, internal messaging, where I'm able to communicate only with firm members or co-counsel that I've brought in to help with this particular matter. And then there are our client portals. This is information where I share directly with the client or they can share back to me. So when we take a look at the mobile app in just a second, I want you to also realize that there is a client-specific mobile app where clients can use secure encrypted messaging with the law firm. They can actually upload their own documents using their smartphone camera, and they can soon even pay their own bills directly from their mobile phone. So there's a lot of functionality and communications that come with Clio Manage, not just on behalf of the law firm, but on behalf of your client as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at that mobile app. Are we seeing there we go. Perfect. This is Clio for Lawyers. It has all the information and functionality of Clio Manage on your laptop or your desktop, but in a form that's best designed for the mobile experience. So for example, we know that calendars tend to be really important for lawyers on the go. So here's a quick way to throw in, say, a future hearing that's coming up if you're at a scheduling conference, or a quick time entry, because maybe you've had a meeting that you need to record and you're not at your law firm. Here I am in Sculptor. Let's go ahead and do quick 0.3. It's going to be a phone call in this case. Well, we'll go with travel. You can see here that if I were a firm that needed to, I could use leads or UTBMS billing such that I can submit that information. And we're just traveling to San Diego for arbitration. Now, I know half an hour is not enough time to go from LA to San Diego, but for the purposes of the demo, we'll just let it be. And we'll save that. And that's now a part of the record. Here I can see the rest of the information linked to this. I can make phone calls. I can draft emails. I can see the documents that are linked with all of this information as well. So it's an amazing way for us to really be able to have our law firm in the palm of our hand for those times when we're not in the office, but we need to be. And let's exit that, and I'll show you how that information that we just entered in the mobile phone will actually now be a part of the record in Clio Manage. If we look down here, for example, I can see Joshua Lennon created the time entry traveling to San Diego for arbitration, listed here as an activity. And I can even see that it's been unbilled. That's how Clio centralizes your law firm, makes it easy to communicate for both you and clients, and even helps you on the go. Let's jump back into the presentation. Oh, got to share the screen. Too many screens. So the last bit I want to show you is just a little bit of a deeper dive in billing and payments. So how are you generating those invoices? How are you collecting those payments and recording them? And the last bit, I think this is where Clio makes a huge improvement in a law firm's bottom line, is how to automate the collections and follow-up with those clients. So when we continue to do our research into what works for clients and what hasn't worked for law firms, what we find is that most law firms are still on, unfortunately, a more old school system. They're billing maybe once a month. They oftentimes still resort to mailing physical bills. And we all know the mailbox rule. And so get it in the mailbox and you're good to go. And what we see is that over half of law firms report that they have overdue bills. But interestingly, when they're using modern payment systems like online payments, they actually get paid faster. What we've seen through our research is 57% of bills that are shared with a payment link are paid within the same day. People get the email, click on the link, see what's due, and especially if their details are saved with a law firm, they just hit pay and they're good to go. And a huge majority of clients out there are actually looking for payment plans, the ability to pay the law firm the amount that they owe, but do so in a predictable and regular fashion. And so as we jump in to Clio Manage and research the payment options that are there, I'm going to show you how we can automate reminders for past due bills. Now we can set up payment plans that really benefit the law firm and the client in terms of predictable amounts coming in at a regular basis. And of course, the impact of this is actually monumental. Firms that were early adopters to online payments are both seeing the clients tend to pick those law firms. Oh, I can pay by credit card. Oh, I don't have to bring my checkbook. You're the lawyer for me. And then the amount of revenue that they're able to generate per lawyer is, of course, higher as well. And again, this is another huge impact on the law firm's bottom line, where we're seeing close to $10,000 of additional revenue per lawyer just by making it easy for clients to pay you. Why are you spending time chasing them down when they can just pay the bill and take care of it themselves? And that's why we have built Clio Payments as just an integrated part of Clio Manage, available to every law firm of every size. There's no third-party integration. You don't have to go and get a separate service to have this. You just have it in Clio Manage. We have the lowest processing rates of any provider. That also includes legal specific processing, like that trust request that we did just earlier. And it's absolutely amazing how quick you can do this. You can easily be signed up and processing payments in under an hour. In fact, when we announced this feature just about a year ago, during the announcement presentation, one law firm in the audience signed up, was approved, sent a bill, and had that bill paid before we were even done talking about the feature. It can be that easy. And so let's see how easy it is for you now to automate and increase the revenue of your law firm with one last quick demo. So we've got some unbilled time, and we know that Sculptor, unfortunately, is going to have a little bit of problems paying this information. Let's throw one quick new entry in here just for something, say, lengthy. Let's say we're going to go with 6 hours It's another court appearance. This time it's a custody hearing. We can even set the date and all of that information. We're just going to save this entry. So now there's a pretty substantial bit of work in progress here. We're over $2,000. Let's go ahead and turn that into a quick bill. All of the time entries that you've seen, both in mobile and in the desktop, all put together. We could add some expenses right here. Let's just go ahead and generate that bill. When we share it, maybe unfortunately our client is unable to pay it all at once. So what can we do? We can help our client by helping them create a payment plan. I can also use Clio's outstanding balance feature to really let them know when a bill is due. So say, for example, I have a client with an outstanding bill. I can send them an automated reminder that grabs their entire balance and says, hey, this is due. Please go ahead and pay that now. And I can do that with a client that has an email. There we go. And as you can see, especially in the instances where you might have a business that is your client, but a contact within that business who handles all of your billing, you can manage both of those quickly and easily in Clio. And this is the message that they'll see. Hey, here's your outstanding balance. Let's go ahead and do a payment plan. We're going to do a new payment plan real quick. Let's go ahead and grab Daria. What are the payments for? They're going to go into the operating account. She's got an outstanding balance of $2,000 right now, but unfortunately can only really pay $500 on a monthly basis. But I'm able to actually pick a wide variety of that. So let's say 500. And I can select, will this be billed to a credit card that we have on file for her or an approved checking account that's on file for her? And when will this start? Let's go ahead and have it come together at the end of September. Back to school happens. We need to get all that going. And so we can pull all of that information in right now. And I'm using my demo email here, but this would be automatically populated for her. And I can set this up and now begin looking at, whoops, I apologize. I went the opposite fields. There we go. Here we can put in all of our information, or if there's an e-check. And so now we have a plan that's going. And that will actually create the billing that needs to be done by her. As you can see in demo count, and she'll be able to have a predictable payment and will have predictable revenue because of what she's done. So there are multiple ways to automate billing within Clio. There are outstanding balance reminders where all of these scofflaws here, like the American Bar Association that owe our firm money, will now be reminded and have the opportunity to pay quickly and easily. And then there are payment plans, which enable our clients to have a bit of predictability and automation that works in favor of both the law firm and the client. And that's how Clio helps improve billing and revenue on behalf of you and your clients. So we've got one last bit I'd like to cover about how law firms are using Clio and what are some of the benefits that you now get from using Clio as a unique company. Some of these features like calendar management, you can get from anybody, but Clio itself has some really unique benefits. First, we're able to do this type of research like you see, where the benefits that come from using a tool like Clio are published in our unique legal trends report and are really helping guide a better understanding of the practice of law. I highly encourage you to download our free legal trends report and see the impact that using technologies like electronic payments, client portals, and client intake will have on your law firm, including a 40% increase in revenue per lawyer. We are able to demonstrate through this research that firms that are using this type of technology, especially solos, really benefit from it. But firms of all sizes will see, on average, $37,000 in additional revenue per lawyer. And that type of insight comes from the fact that, one, we are the most widely used practice management software in the world, and two, that we invest in this type of research and education, not just on behalf of us as a company, but on behalf of the legal industry as a whole. And that's why over 150,000 lawyers use us. You get to spend time on what matters. You get to decrease your risk when it comes to compliance. You get to meet the evolving needs of your clients, and you get to work from anywhere. And in addition to that, you have a partner that has the most reviews, most 5-star reviews of any software out there, award-winning support available 24 hours a day. We're part of, and we have our own thriving customer community that are all working together on tips and tricks. We're a member benefit with over 70 plus bar associations. We have the #1 app for law firms and for clients on both Android and Apple. We have over $110 million in investment, picking us as the sustainable market leader out of all the other software out there. We actually have the capability and the backing to be here 10 years from now. And we're a part of over 200 plus academic partners, law schools, and paralegal programs, which mean that your next hire will come into your law firm knowing Clio. We are your industry partner. So I asked this question at the beginning. I'd like to ask it one more time. Would you like to speak to an expert about getting Clio into your law firm?